It was commonly believed among the students that Aoko was always in a foul mood. Oh. But this gossip was 90% prejudice, as Aoko simply didn't have time to be irritated 24/7. Yeah, I guess. The reality was she simply didn't want to explain herself all the time, and therefore seemed angry about something, obvious or not. This idle gossip did, however, lead to her earning the title of one of the school's 7 deadly threats. What are the other 6? The remaining 10% of the gossip was right on the mark. Aoko herself often had the feeling that her tendency to feel animosity toward harmless things was akin to what a chronic headache sufferer might experience. Okay. Today fell under that 10%. For today, her anger was pure, and her childish and selfish display was befitting of her actual age. The meeting room was dimly lit, awash in the colors of the rain. To reduce electricity costs, school regulations forbid the use of light during the day. Okay. This was the setting the three of them found themselves in. Her first impression was that his calm demeanor reminded her of a field of wildflowers. In spite of his perfect posture, he seemed subdued and frail. And though describing him as meek would be going too far, at the very least he was passive. Even through his uniform, she could see that he was thinner than average. His dark hair was unkempt, and he came across as a wholly forgettable boy. That's kind of rude. If she had to look at him in a more positive light, she would describe him more a young man than a boy. It was his calm demeanor that made him seem more mature. Was that the cause of Aoko's reasonless reaction? He seemed almost too at home in the meeting room, and she was left with the impression that it was her and the teacher, not this outsider, who were the guests here. Okay? I'm still trying to, like... It's gotta... I don't know, does her hair just get lighter when she gets older, or is her hair dyed? Or maybe through magic, like as she gets more proficient, like something changed in her hair. I don't know. Because for me, it's like the hair color that's kind of throwing me off. She felt an unidentifiable aggravation building within her, almost as if her right to be here was in question. Aoko felt herself raising her natural defenses.
信じられない。私、今わけもなく怒ってない。
Seems that way. She hated not understanding things, her own emotions in particular. It pained her less than you would imagine for a perfectionist like her, but it still nagged her like a thorn in her side.
いやーほら、青崎くん、挨拶してあげなくちゃ。
Mr. Kamashira's attempt to relieve the tension was equally irritating. Yeah.
挨拶?
If you wouldn't mind. After casting a nasty glance in the teacher's direction, Aoko turned to face the boy. From an outsider's perspective, it might have looked like a stare down. And in that instant, the culmination of her emotional state hurtled toward the innocent boy and skewered him. Oh no! Oh no, Sojiro, no! What's she saying? What's she gonna say?
いや、待たせたね、しずきくん。
Hearing his name, Sojiro came to his senses. His stunned gaze shook loose. He took a deep breath to clear his head. chalking it up to the nerves. Mr. Yamashiro broke out a smile and turned to the girl standing beside him.
紹介するよ。彼が転入生のしずき宗十郎くん。で、こっちの彼女がしずきくんの案内役。うちの生徒会長で休日を押して新しい仲間の案内役を買って出てくれた青崎青子くんだ。
It's awkward. Having been introduced by Mr. Yamashiro, the girl took a step forward. Her eyes were merciless. Her stare an unspoken threat to violently trample her opponent. Okay. Sojiro, on the other hand, managed to keep his own composure despite the shock at how confrontational she appeared. He had never been greeted quite like this before, but supposed, mistakenly, that this was how people treated each other in the city. No, it's just her. she does not look happy. The exchange must have looked quite dramatic to an onlooker. A girl ready to brawl. An earnest country boy desperate to understand. It was a murderous limbo, especially for anyone in the room with them. Like Mr. Yamashiro, for example. While he had thought he had made the right decision in choosing an honor student to help him out, she was in an inexplicably bad mood, and the tension in the air was undeniable. It was this moment that he realized his failure. His realization had come far too late. One false move, and the girl for whom no problem was too large would become a storm that would rock the very foundations of the school. Just as the almighty Joker card could bring either fortune or disaster, the sole teacher who had been present at the time would come to bear the blame for the scandal that ensued. What do you mean, scandal? Does she murder him?
イケてる。二人とも気は合うようだね。
Yeah, okay. Yeah, buddy. Yeah. That's what's happening here. They're hitting it off. Right.
それじゃあ、僕はこの辺でいいかな。
He's just like, get me the fuck out of here. Mr. Yamashiro laughed nervously as he crept toward the door.
僕は職員室にいるから、終わったら来るように。
Coward.
いいかい青崎くん。くれぐれもだぜ。
She'll be alright. You should be asking Sojiro if he'll be alright.
なんていうか、生徒会長としての度量の広さをこの際僕に信じさせてほしいかな。
Mr. Yamashiro left, leaving the two in a locked-eyed state, one in which one set of eyes was doing all the glaring. All that remained in the room was a naive boy and a cross-armed guarded girl. He seems pretty calm, though. The two lingered in silence. They resembled shogi players agonizing over their first moves, though ultimately, it was only Aoko that had considered the scene that carefully. She decided to put her irritation aside for the time being. With no reason to feel revulsion for him in the first place, she sighed deeply and faced Sojiro.
まあいいわ。山城先生がヒルアンドンなのは今に始まったことじゃないし。
Okay. I'm just gonna take your word for it.
それで、あなた名前は？
The teacher's... Okay. Her tone was nothing if not reproachful, though he had done nothing to offend her. But the boy failed to pick up on it. Incapable of such venom himself.
ああ、しずき宗十郎かな。君は青崎さんだったね。
For whatever reason, he came across as happy in his response. Oh no. And she's gonna think he's unhappy, or that he's happy about her unhappiness. It's gonna be a whole thing, and they're gonna... Oh boy.
ターンはいいわ。柄じゃないから。
Okay.
こっちはしずきくんでいい？
いいって何が？
だから呼び方。くんづけでいいかって聞いてるの。
She looks... Oh my god, she's...
何よ？おかしなこと言った？私。
Kinda.
いや、すごく。
Okay, he's honest. The boy replied immediately as if it was a natural response, but quickly second-guessed himself.
いや、いいんだ。ごく一般的なんだろう。しずきくんで頼む。君は青崎でいいんだよな。
よろしく。
Okay. She followed her blunt reply with a swift turn away from him. Well, she was hardly thrilled at the prospect of the task at hand. It had been entrusted to her, and it was her personal policy to see it through to the end.
悪いけど、優しくしてあげる気はないから。時間も惜しいし、手早く行くわよ。
それは助かる。やっぱり時間は大切だ。
Aoko's blunt rancor? Bruh. Bitterness or resentfulness. Okay, you see, okay. The next thing after the dictionary term is literally the monster from Star Wars that popped into my head when that word popped up. Like, okay, hang on. Y'all, like, bruh. This thing is, hang on, let me. Boom. Y'all can't tell me this isn't the first thing that pops into your head when you see the word rancor. Like, this was the first thing that popped into my head, was this monster from Star Wars. I literally remember fighting like 20 of these in Force Unleashed. Like, oh my god. Aoko's blunt rancor was lost on him once again. I don't even know if I'm saying that word correctly. That's how they call it in Star Wars, so I'm gonna, yeah. Humans tend to be overly conscious about being ignored, whatever form that takes. I mean, I don't think he's trying to ignore her displeasure. He just doesn't get it. But despite being peeved at landing none of her attacks, Aoko did her best to act professional and directed her guests into the hallway. There was no sunlight in the hallway, nor any sign of life. This was more like a prison than the cave that was the meeting room. As it dawned on Aoko that the hallway matched her mood, she sighed once again.
まず聞いておくけど、山城先生から聞いたことは理解してる？
ああ、学校の仕組みについては分かった。この建物全部に同い年の人間がいるなんて、ちょっと想像できないけど。
Not used to having that many people at the same age being in one place.
そう、よかったわね。
Aoko rubbed her forehead. This Sojiro kid had no idea what he was in for. Yeah. Apparently all he'd heard about school was that it was a place where a lot of people met to study. I mean, it's not wrong. High school teachers imparted to students their knowledge in various fields of study, while fostering discipline and creativity. But never did Aoko imagine that she would have to explain the concept of school itself to someone. Yes, fundamentals were important, but this was absurd. She had serious doubts whether he could even handle classes, but Mr. Yamashiro insisted that things would work out somehow. Yeah, they usually do. Sojiro had managed to pass the transfer exam after all. Barely.
ま、私には関係ないけど。
Aoko grumbled mentally as she walked down the hallway. She consoled herself with the fact that today would be the only day she'd spend with this boy out of time. Or at least she'd try to keep it that way. That's a bit mean.
Aozaki,
He asked calmly, trying to get her attention.
何？
こっちも一つ聞いていいかな。
だから何？
俺の気のせいだと思うんだが、君はまるで何かを睨んでいるように見える。
Okay, he figured it out. Okay, good. We're baby steps, okay? Also, what is that face she's pulling, by the way? Like the, how would you even like explain that facial feature, like that facial, like that facial fucking expression, facial expression. There we go. I wanted to say facial emote, but I wanted to find the right word first.
やはり今朝は悪いものでも。
Little blunt, buddy. Asking if she's upset? Sure. You want to make sure you didn't do anything. I get it. But then the that second bit is. His gaze revealed earnest concern, as if asking her if she'd remembered to eat breakfast. Yeah. I knew that wasn't. It was like another hammer to her head. It was true that Aoko had been glaring at Sojiro the entire time. Glaring red-hot daggers, in fact. Not just at him, but the universe. Bro, I love how like expressive they've made like these sprites. Like this, like I wouldn't even call these sprites. These are just straight up straight up like character models, not just sprites. Like, man, could y'all imagine if they remade Fate Stay Night in this style? Bro, I would be hard as a rock. Not even gonna cap. Like, the thought of it. Ugh. I mean, heck, just I'm excited to see what more of this, especially when it gets into more heavy, like impactful, like actiony scenes. I'm assuming there's gonna be actiony scenes. It's a Type Moon prod. I can't imagine there won't be action. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that when that starts. Anyway, glaring red-hot daggers, not just at him, but the universe. Even on her best days, her roommate used to remark.
青子の視線は普通の人には厳しいわ。もう少し多くのことに寛大になるべきね。
I mean, your roommate's not wrong. She'd been warned that her emotions were so naked on her face that people treated her like a powder keg. How naive could the boy be that he could not pick up on this? Very, very naive.
私をバカにしてるってわけじゃなさそうよね。この場合。
He doesn't have it in him to be mocking, I don't think. Okay, that stance Does not match the facial expression at all. Well, yeah, I guess it does. Even she found her own attempt to reassure herself unconvincing. It began to dawn on Aoko far too late. That compared to her, this laid-back transfer student might as well have been from another planet.
いいわ。言葉にしないとわからないようだから言うけど、まるでじゃなくて、ズバリそうなの。あなたの気のせいじゃなくて、私は視線で遠回しに感情を表現してたの。いちいち声に出すのも、会話にするのも面倒だから。
Okay. At least she's I guess she's laying it out for him. It's good. In response to her words, the Martian clapped his hands together.
なるほど。どうしてそうしたいのかはわからないが、確かにそっちの方が手っ取り早い意思表現だ。
Sojiro accepted her reasoning without argument. Though he still had no idea what kinds of emotions she was trying to express. Express. It was as if he could hear the words, but didn't grasp the meaning. Ideas that should have connected were instead separated into blocks.
確かにずれてるわ、こいつ。
A little bit. Mr. Yamashiro's words made sense to her now. What was odd about this boy went way beyond naivety. A stranger in a strange land he may be, but it was only civilized to forgive him some jet lag-induced confusion.
じゃ、とりあえずあなたの教室に行くから。
She had regained her composure. Sojiro raised his hand and stopped in his tracks.
あと一つ。
Yeah? Aoko waited for Sojiro to continue. The boy was patient to a fault. She rubbed her forehead with her hand again, nursing a vague feeling of uneasiness.
これもちょっとした疑問なんだが、なんで君は怒ってるんだ?
Yeah, he's too clueless for his own good. This guy, I just...
怒るのが商売とか、そういう家柄の人なのか?
Bro! Really? Is it running your family? This guy is, he's asking for it. A long silence. Yeah, no, I wouldn't blame him for being angry. Even angrier, I guess. Though she knew it wouldn't change the situation, she remembered her regret at answering the phone that morning. He meant no harm. She repeated this thought like a mantra in an attempt to keep her impulses in check. Oh, Sojiro.
別にあなたのせいじゃないから気にする必要はないわ。
I mean, kind of, but not him directly. But, yeah.
ただ、この一瞬とお昼まで眠っていた場合を計りにかけたら、あまりに利益の違いがあって頭を抱えただけよ。
With that vague answer, she started to walk again. And turned her gaze away from this rude stranger named Sojiro Shizuki. That poor boy. Well, what constitutes normal is certainly up for debate. Most would undoubtedly refer to him as so. He was a simple and nice boy with nondescript features. If he were an ice cream flavor, he'd be vanilla. Okay. I like vanilla. And Sojiro found Aoko to be very businesslike and full of life. Ah, he likes her. There was a certain purpose to her movements, as they began and ended in an orderly fashion. The way her finger raised when she pointed at things. The way she made her way across the hallways and classrooms. Oh boy. The way she would occasionally glance back at him to make sure he was keeping pace. Each and every movement was so impressive they couldn't take his eyes off her. Is there a particular reason you're focusing on her chest and hip area? Aoko showed him to his homeroom Class C of the 11th grade. The room certainly displayed more of a human touch than the previous meeting room, but Sojiro is none the wiser as to its function. Aoko gave a brief explanation before they visited individual subject classrooms, as well as the gym, cafeteria, locker room, and school infirmary. Sojiro asked so many questions that much time passed before they reached the AV room on the second floor. What? Sojiro stopped, looking genuinely concerned.
あと20分経つと1時だ。
嘘でしょ。うちの校舎そんな広くないわよ。
Also, how did he know that? Has he just been keeping track of like every minute in his head? The tour had begun around 10, which meant that 3 hours had passed. A tour of a school shouldn't take anywhere near this long.
そうだったわね。行く先々で根掘り葉掘り聞かれちゃ、そりゃ何時間でも経
Oh,
つわ。
come on. He's
日が暮れてい
curious.
ないのが不思議なくらいね。
He's just curious, Aoko. Come on. Aoko glared at Sojiro. She was being sarcastic, of course, knowing full well he would never pick up on it. Yeah, he's not picking up on the sarcasm, so he thinks you're serious. To her surprise, he looked down apologetically, unable to hide his dejection.
なんだこいつ。
Oh, apologize now. Stop being mean. The guy before her now was nothing like earlier. In contrast to seeing his once impenetrable veneer, when they first met, she found herself feeling sympathetic. Momentarily, at least, until her irritation returned in full force. Irritation at him specifically, or irritation at her feeling sympathetic?
で、何がまずいの？覚えることが多すぎてパンクした。なんて言わないでね。
Stop being mean, okay? He's trying his best.
いや、それもあるけど、学校のことは別にして、1時になるとまずいんだ。
Sojiro's gaze wandered as if worried about something. If he was worried about the weather, he would have a hard time seeing it as there were no windows in this hallway.
へえ、時間を気にするってことは用事があるのね。
Be very careful how you answer, Sojiro.
そう。人の予定を引っかき回しておいて、自分だけ好きなようにやろうって言うんだ。
Aoko, why are you being difficult?
なんだ、顔に似合わずいい人ね、君。
いや、褒めても何も出ないぞ。
He doesn't know that expression, Aoko. He doesn't.
誰も褒めちゃいないわよ。
Bruh. She yelled at him, unable to hold back her fury.
で、それで、一体何の用なの？
Good question. Sojiro's face lit up as he finally understood what she was asking him.
そこは秘密にしておきたい。
Oh, okay. he said with a perfectly straight face. She's like, what? What the fuck?
慣れ始めたつもりだったけど、こいつのこういったテンポには失神しそうになるわ。
Yeah, he's a character. Her frustration was natural. Still, she did everything she could to stifle her feelings and fake a smile.
しずきくん
She took a step forward.
秘密だってば。
Like, are you keeping it a secret, or are you supposed to do something at one that you don't know about? Or okay. Feeling the mood change drastically, Sojiro took a step back. And another. And another. No matter how many steps he took back, she kept edging towards him. She was smiling, but he thought he could see the blood boiling beneath her skin.
これ最後の質問にしとくわね。
Yeah?
あなた、私をからかって楽しい？
No? He had no intention of mocking her, though at this point he doubted presenting any evidence to prove this would do much to erase that forced smile on her face. Yeah, probably not.
わかった。説明する。
His arms raised in surrender. She halted her advance and freed her face from that unseemly smile.
実は1時からアルバイトがあるんだ。でもここはそういうの禁止なんだろ？
そうだけど、あ、禁止されてるから秘密にしようと思ったの？バカね。それなら許可さえ下りていれば問題ないわよ。
Okay, well that's good.
知ってる。試験の時に許可をもらってる。
Then what's the problem?
へえ。
Alco's face lit up as she realized he might not be the piece of work she thought him to be. Yet,
しかし許可は一つしかもらえなかった。
oh, you have multiple.
一つって、あなた掛け持ちでバイトしてるの？
That's what it would seem like, yes.
これでも2件減らしたんだ。生活費だけで大変なのに学費まで稼がなくちゃいけない。なのに働き先は一つだけというのはあんまりだと思わないか？
Wait, you quit 2 of them and you still have at least 2? Wow.
いや、あんまりなのはあなたの方だと思うけど。
Though still irritated, her opinion of him changed a little. Yeah, he works very hard, very earnest. She was impressed that he was able to take care of his tuition and living expenses all on his own. But why does he have to do that? She could also empathize with having no time to oneself. Her anger began to subside. The words part-time job were about the last thing she ever expected to hear out of this country boy's mouth.
そういうことなら仕方ないわね。
Yeah.
いいわ、行きなさいよ。事情は分かったから。
青崎はいいのか？
She had no idea what his question meant, but she at least understood he was trying to be considerate. Which also took her by surprise. She figured he'd be just as dense about people's feelings as he was about everything else.
別に、私もこのまま帰るから。
First, though, she thought it best they both stop by the faculty room. Yeah. Mr. Yamashiro had mentioned that the transfer procedures had already been completed, so all that remained was for him to sign off on her duties.
先生、案内終わりました。
Both the guys are just smiling and she's over back there pissed.
それはお疲れ様。しずきくんもお疲れ様。それで校舎を回った感想はどうかな。
ありがとうございます。なんというかとても学校ですね。
Yeah? Yeah?
そうかそうか。うん、明日から頑張りなさい。
She had no interest whatsoever in this pointless wrap-up meeting.
山城先生のことは気にしないでいいわ。教え子に厄介なことを押し付けてふんぞり返っているぐらい職員室が好きなんだから、何時間でも待ってるでしょ。
Kinda bitter, huh?
いえ、待ってるべきじゃない？
I mean, yeah, I guess.
そうか。青崎がいいんならいいんだな。
He didn't get the sarcasm. She's like, what? Bro, yeah. I can't get over it. All of these stills look like they're just like screenshots from like anime. Like, oh my god, they did such a good job. This is when did this originally come out? 2013, right? Like this game's 10 years old. Or like 9.5, whatever. Whatever Sojiro was getting at, Aoko had no idea. But wait, have they put out a visual novel since Mihoyo? It's all just been like Fate Extella and whatnot, right? And Grand Order? Hang on. Type Moon visual novels. FSN, Holodiraxia, Tsukihime, Mihoyo, and then Kitsatoya, and then the Suki remake. Huh. Interesting. Hopefully we get the Tsukihime remakes in English soon. Again, I really hope Mihoyo did well. Like enough to where like, okay, we maybe we do localizations for more stuff going forward. At least that's my hope. Anyway, whatever Sojiro was getting at, Aoko had no idea.
それじゃ行くよ。今日はありがとう。
今日だけよ、今日だけ。
She shooed him away with her hand. His face bent into a broad smile, as if he found the gesture endearing. If she heard his thoughts earlier, she would know that she did. He does find her endearing, in a weird way. It was a softer expression than she had grown accustomed to seeing out of him. It was the kind of smile that would make anyone smile back. Is she gonna do it? Well, most people at least. Aozaki Aoko didn't betray the slightest hint of a smile.
それじゃまた。
And with that friendly farewell, Sojiro walked toward the end of the hallway. Or so she thought before he turned into the next class over. He doesn't know where he's going, does he? Wait, what? Wait, what? No! Sojiro headed straight for one of the classroom's windows. Whereupon he opened it with ease. Buddy. The chilly November air filled the room as the soft sounds of the rain doubled in volume. In that instant, she realized his intention with opening the window. She really wished she hadn't.
いや、待て待て待て！
I mean, he's probably jumped from like higher trees than this, maybe. I don't know. He already had one leg out the window when she dashed to stop him.
何するつもりよあんたは。
Leaving?
何ってアルバイトに行くんだけど。
Yo, fair. Fair. But, you realize how weird this looks, right?
その窓は人が出入りするところじゃないの。だいたいここ何階だと思ってるの？
Third? She saw the light of understanding dawn in his eyes.
死ぬところだった。2階から降りたら危なすぎる。
Bro, what?
危ないのはあんたの頭。
Yeah, how does he even think that... Oh. Her insult went right over his head. Of course it did.
あのね、こっちじゃ窓から人は出入りしないの。さっき言っとくべきだった。
Yeah, no, I guess it's a good thing to know. I don't know how no one at his part-time job ever mentioned that to him, but you know,
知ってるよ。時間がないんで慌ててたんだ。
Wait, was he making a joke then when he said who would put...
ありがとう。これからは気をつける。
His school uniform was soaking wet from the rain.
いいけど、私は別に。あなたがどこから外に出ようが関係ないもの。ただ、できれば私の前ではやらないでほしいだけよ。それより、あなた、本当に明日から学校に来るの？
来るよ。不安だけど案内してもらったし。
I'm just processing. Like, was he that just oblivious, or was he trying to make a joke? Because he said he knew that you don't go out windows, but he still, he was trying to save time. I don't know. He bid her farewell before running down the hallway. I'm just gonna leave it. She hoped he would walk down the stairs and leave through the school entrance like a normal person.
大丈夫なのか？あんなんで。
I don't know, Aoko. I don't know. The image of him disappearing into the distance popped into her head, in spite of her ire. She had no intention of spending any more time with him, and yet she felt strangely anxious. She couldn't tell if the feeling was fueled by concern or irritation. Both? Probably just irritation. Why had she even gotten angry with this insignificant transfer student in the first place? Because she's cranky from waking up early? I don't know. A strange day with a strange transfer student resulting in strange emotions. Yeah. Her head tilted as she reflected on what should have been a more enjoyable day than the irritating experience she just had.
いっか。
Yeah, just gotta move on.
どうせこれっきりなんだし。
I mean, you're in different classes, yeah, but you'll see him in the hallway still. Like, it's not like you'll never see him again. And seeing as how he's on the cover of the special edition box, or collector's edition, whatever. Okay, now, not just that, he's in like all the promo art too. So I'm pretty sure there's gonna be a little more. You're gonna see him a little bit, probably. The sound of the rain echoed quietly all around her. The gray sky seemed frozen in time. It was impossible to discern whether it was morning or evening. Mr. Yamashiro and Aoka were likely the only ones left at school. The unlit classroom looked overly gloomy and ominous as Aoka stood in it alone. She pulled up her left sleeve. Her dainty, unremarkable watch showed that it was almost 1 o'clock.
時間合ってる
I mean, in the mountains, probably don't have many clocks or watches, so I guess got used to telling the time. But I don't know. He probably wakes up at the same time every day, and then counts like the minutes, I guess, or seconds even, as he goes about the day. She looked out the window at the grounds below, and sees him doing high jumps. She saw a boy in a uniform running through the rain without an umbrella. A sight she must have seen before, but for whatever reason, affected her far more than she wished.